Welcome to KREM 2 News First at 4, everyone. I'm Jane McCarthy.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Thanks for joining us. There is new help now for families fighting addiction in the state of Washington. Rickies Law is aimed at helping people with a life-threatening addiction. They can now get the help that they need.
Well, this new law allows family, friends, or healthcare workers to involuntarily commit someone who's deemed at risk of harming themselves. Lauren Davis championed the legislation named after her best friend, Ricky Garcia, a former drug addict and suicide survivor.
I have heard from families every single week, sometimes multiple times per week, over the last 2 years since the bill passed. Often mothers telling me, my child is dying right now, my child is in the ICU right now, please help me. And I couldn't do a thing. And so today, to be able to have the peace to say, this is here, you can use it, it means everything to me.
Well, Davis knows it could be a little bumpy as cities and counties around the state all get on the same page, but great news with that new law. For the first time since he shot and killed his wife, we are hearing from Dwayne Thurman. Today, the former Lincoln County Reserve deputy took the stand in his own defense. Now, Thurman is charged with first-degree manslaughter for the shooting death of his wife, Brenda. He says the 2016 shooting was an accident.
So Thurman, as we said, took the stand today in an effort to explain how the shooting happened. KREM 2's Mark Hanrahan has more on a story that we're working on for you for our 5 o'clock newscast. Mark?
Good afternoon, guys. The prosecution rested its case late this morning. Then it was the defense's turn to present its case. Dwayne Thurman did take the stand, as you mentioned, in his own defense today, and here is just a small part of his testimony.
She pushes back on her chair. She throws her iPod and she kind of falls off the chair and falls to the ground.
Well, Thurman, as you see, was visibly upset during his testimony, even crying at times. He explained to the court how he and Brenda met, her experience with guns, as well as his experience with guns. After Thurman's testimony, the defense rested its case. As for the circumstances surrounding how Thurman says he accidentally shot his wife, he claimed he didn't think the gun was loaded, and when he was cleaning it, it just went off, striking his wife Brenda in the chest. We'll have more from court today, coming up new at 5. Back to you.
Mark, thank you very much. Taking a live look outside right now, it stayed mostly dry today, at least in Spokane proper, but some people saw some precipitation as well. Tom is here with the forecast. Some people saw some snowfall today.
I know. I actually saw a little bit out in the Spokane Valley. It was really a chilly day after a pretty decent Easter weekend. So especially for Saturday, that was really nice. 44 degrees right now. We typically should see highs this time of day in the low 50s. Winds are calm. You see that very low dew point temperature at 16 as well. We'll look for an overnight low of about 30 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies expected Tuesday, a high below average at 48. I always look ahead to the weekend. The temperatures will warm up into the mid-50s, but there's a pretty good chance we're going to see rain, especially on Saturday and then lingering into Sunday. I'll do my best to kind of change that as we get closer to the weekend.
All right, in other news, construction season now underway in Spokane. Work started today on a big project, North Monroe Street. The city of Spokane will be working from Indiana to Kiernan. It's all part of a plan to revitalize that busy corridor.
So other street improvements are going to be happening on Sharp Avenue, 5 Mile Road, and Sunset Boulevard. It will also include High Drive from 21st to 29th. And then after those projects are finished, the city will then move on to the new U District Gateway Bridge, and the hope is to get that completed by fall. And extra patrols are out there right now in Washington State. More than 150 law enforcement agencies are looking for distracted drivers. The Washington Traffic Safety Commission declared April Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
Under the driving under the influence of electronics law, also known as EDUI, drivers cannot hold cell phones or watch videos while they're driving. Pretty smart. Stopped in traffic or even at a stoplight. Well, you shouldn't be looking at videos and driving anyway, right? But now they can pull you over for that. And that includes tablets, laptop, games, any handheld electronic devices. Nearly 1,500 drivers have been ticketed each month since last July. And that first EDUI ticket, if you get one, it would cost you $136. If you get a second ticket within 5 years, it'll cost $234.
Wow. Well, speaking of roads and tickets and driving, heavy snow caused multiple collisions overnight and early today up on I-90 near Snoqualmie Pass. A 27-year-old pregnant Moses Lake woman was killed in a crash near North Bend last night. The roads were a mess. Washington State Patrol troopers say she was driving too fast for conditions. 3 other people were also hurt, including 2 children.
Washington State troopers say the woman lost control of her car, then drove off the road and right into a ravine. Investigators believe she hit a guardrail before coming to a stop 20 feet down the embankment. Local fire crews reported heavy snow and hail on the road when they arrived on the scene.
And if you bank with STCU, listen up. Some members were recently double charged for debit transactions. STCU says the issue took place for nearly 4 hours, starting at 9:30 Friday night. STCU says it did not impact every transaction that was made during that time, but in a tweet today, the credit union said the problem stemmed from a technical issue. It said, "Our team is aware and working to correct it as quickly as possible, ensuring that no member accounts are negatively impacted." They go on to say that we deeply apologize and will keep you updated on this event.
Well, some Gonzaga prep students are traveling to New Orleans for a lesson they can't get in the classroom.
Yeah, so it's all part of the school's Margins program. 30 students are on their way out of town. 11 are going to be going down to New Orleans, and then the rest of the students are going to be flying either to San Francisco or Los Angeles, depending on the issues that they are passionate about.
The trip is an opportunity for students to immerse themselves in economic, environmental, and criminal justice issues and build connections with the people who find themselves at the center of those issues. Creme 2's Kira Elfallen has more on this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Camp Hope is in the lower 9th Ward. So the place that we're staying is the place that was most affected, most damaged by Hurricane Katrina.
Tyler Hobbs sits with students in preparation for the big trip ahead.
What I want to ask the mayor of New Orleans, right, the representative of this city to the world.
For months, these students have been studying fundamental human rights and learning about topics like social identity, mass incarceration, and the current climate crisis, all to prepare them for what they are about to see and experience.
And we meet with folks who are doing the work and folks who are experiencing these injustices in really authentic, meaningful ways, and we try to understand them, to make sense of people's experiences and what does it mean for us to walk with them and advocate for them and to eradicate those problems.
This will be the 2nd year of the program and the 2nd time Hobbs gets to watch his students immerse themselves in these issues during their spring break.
There are unexpected moments of human encounter on these trips where you build relationship with sometimes the most unexpected people. Be that someone who was a gang member or somebody who is currently incarcerated or someone who's experiencing homelessness or someone who's an activist in their field.
Zandre Jean-Francois is a sophomore who is ready to listen.
You always hear about like the negative sides, but you never really hear directly from other people about what their situation, what it was like. You don't really know what caused them to get into that situation. It helps you think before you do something out in public. Helps you not jump to conclusions about other people and not like judge them. It helps you to be also more accepting of others.
Senior Donna Finger saying this trip may hold the answers to many of her questions.
I just really want to do something in the world. Like, I just have kind of that drive, like there's so many issues, so many problems, and like I just want to know, you know, if there is anything we can do about it, because sometimes I go home from school and I'm just like, I never get my questions answered.
Sophomore Daisy Dye realizing that this opportunity might not come around again.
This is not something that I will likely experience again in my future life. I'm excited to meet all these new people and just to be humbled by their experience and wisdom.
It's often surprising and in some ways unpredictable what's going to touch the heart of a student, what's going to be that thing that pushes them out of their comfort zone and into that place of compassion or action. So the hope is that students walk away from these trips with a lot of questions, but also with a heart on fire, and so that they feel empowered to make reasonable, significant, informed change when they come back.
Well, students will spend 7 days in New Orleans. Then the students will get a chance to meet alum Steve Gleason. Gleason was one of the world's greatest advocates for ALS patients. Students will see how technology helps improve the lives of ALS patients. And we plan to get some video of that and show it to you as well next week when they get back. So safe travels to them.
You bet. What a great program. Here's on to this. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the champions. We want to extend a big congratulations to the Central Valley's girls basketball team. The Bears won the Geico High School National Championship over the weekend.
So this was the scene when the team arrived back home to Spokane Saturday night. The girls finished the season undefeated with a state championship title, and now this. So huge congrats to them, and we've covered them quite a bit here on Creme 2, and we know they're great athletes, but we also know they have great hearts as well.
Yeah, they're just outstanding people, no doubt. Wow.
Love that. Good for them.
Well
so proud.
done.